Hello, today we're going to see how SafeOne can monitor cloud instances. In this case, in particular, we're going to focus in Google Cloud. There are several tools in the market that can monitor resources in cloud providers like Google Cloud, but very few of them focus on the network aspect of the clouds. As you can see here, SafeOne can monitor compute instances the same way like other tools can do, but also we focus on other network aspects, as well as storage, or routers, or interconnects. So the following demo shows how SafeOne monitors GCP services from a single console, providing visibility to the infrastructure and network elements of hybrid cloud environments, in particular, in this case, of Google Cloud Platform. The story behind this demo is that there is a company that is migrating services from on-prem to the cloud, and even they have already an APM solution, an application performance monitoring solution, that is monitoring the virtual machines running in the cloud. There are still some communication issues that are not detected by that APM solution. With SafeOne, we will provide a comprehensive view of all the relevant network services in GCP to make sure that the transition to the cloud is successfully, and the performance of the Nicola services are kept stable in the future. So if we go to the SafeOne platform, we can see that actually there is a specific folder that contains all the current reports available for GCP. As you see, it's so important for SafeOne Cloud Monitoring that we have a specific section. At the moment on this version, we have these reports available. If we go through the reports, we will see the kind of data that we are collecting. For example, in Interconnect, we can see that we have two links, and we can get information like the optical levels of sent and transmitted. We can see all the statistics, network statistics like traffic received, sent, drop packets, errors, and so on. All very relevant network-related metrics that other solutions don't collect, and this will give us this extra information, extra visibility on the cloud providers. Another of the reports that we can get here is the cloud routers. Again, we can see that we have several of them, and we can see things like the routed tasks that are up. You can see different information, things like BGP sessions, routed statistics. Again, a lot of relevant information that we collect using this integration that other tools that focus more on the instances will not collect. Another example will be the cloud storage. We can see here different cloud storage with things like object counts, bytes transferred, other kind of network statistics like received, sent bytes, as well as you will see in a second, API statistics on the number of calls. And finally, even though we focus on the network elements of the cloud providers, SafeOne will also monitor the compute instances. So if we go to this other report, we can see the different instances, and we can see things like CPU, memory, network stats, that will give us this information that we need to understand the behavior of these instances in the cloud. But as we know, in SafeOne, collecting data is very important, but analyzing and understanding the data is also very important. That's why if we go to any KPI that we're collecting, what we'll be able to do is analyze in real time that KPI. So for example, if we go to this one, I go to the data analytics, I go to the baseline, you will see some of the out-of-the-box analytics that we have. And actually I can see that this is telling me that actually at this point there has been a change on the behavior of the CPU. It's still 0.2%, which is not a relevant change, but at least it's telling me that something has changed here. We have lots of KPIs available, like time over time, telling me the comparison between this week and last week, and we can change the time frame. We have trends, we have projections based on this, how much is going to be in the next few days. Or for example, another one that is the calendar analysis that tells us the behavior and if there is any kind of pattern. And I can see that yes, lately is higher than expected, so still not too important, but at least it's telling me that what is the behavior compared against the normal behavior. All this very relevant information that is available for every single KPI that we're collecting, either comes from the cloud or not from the cloud. Also, something very relevant is that SafeOne allows us to visually correlate any KPI that is monitoring the platform, either from the cloud or from different sources. So if I actually go back and select the same KPI, But now I don't want to analyze it. What I want to do is compare it with other resources. What I can do is go to the Instant Graph workspace rather than the data analytics. And from here, I can choose, for example, the same instance, that is this one, select another KPI, for example, memory. And from here, we'll select also the memory used. And you can compare it. And you can see that, you look, actually, when the CPU went up, the memory went down. So maybe this is a restart of the VM, and that's why the memory went down and the CPU went up. But basically, you can very easily, very clearly correlate the metrics together. It doesn't have to be metrics from the same instance. For example, if I get the interconnect that is in the same cloud, I can, for example, the metrics and compare it with bytes received, bytes sent, any kind of metric. And actually, you can see here the correlation. In this case, there is no correlation. Or I could do it with any other network elements that I collected. It could be load balancers, it could be firewalls, it could be access points, it could be anything. Any KPI that is sent one, you're going to be able to collect it, analyze it, and visually correlate them together in a single report. And I would like to finish this demo with a reminder that SEV1 supports several cloud providers. We can see them here, like AWS, Azure, or GCP. Also, using other kind of custom collectors, we can collect data from other clouds. For example, we have an integration with IBM Cloud as well, allowing us to have all the multiple clouds, all the multiple regions in a single report. So if I go to this report, you will see that we're getting data from different locations, from different clouds, and we are displaying it in a single report. For example, you can see here the gateways from AWS and from IBM. If we go to the direct links, that they have different names depending on the cloud provider. For example, here we can see that we have from Azure, GCP, and AWS, everything in a single report. And obviously we do this at the network element, but also if you want to do at the instance level, we can do exactly the same. So you will see here things that we have in from AWS, from IBM. I could do a filter, for example, to show Azure or GCP as well. And you could filter, in this case, we have Azure and GCP VMs running here as well. So you can have everything, all your metrics from the different clouds in a single report. And once you're here, you can do exactly the same that you can do with any other KPI. So for example, if I can see that this is having some spikes, do I want to understand if it's normal, if it's not? Let's go to the data analytics, let's understand the metrics, and actually you can see that this spike actually is a single spike, it's not relevant. The rest of the KPI, the metric, it looks normal, so I wouldn't say that this has been a problem. Just a spike on utilization. Thank you for watching.